And so we've heard from the partisans themselves. Now we are joined by eCapitol News Director Sean Ashley, who is at the Capitol each and every day that it is in session. So I'll simply ask you, what was your biggest takeaway from the last 4 months?
Well, you know, one of the interesting things is that House Speaker Charles McCall and Senate President Pro Tem Greg Treat talked at the beginning of the legislative session of a new atmosphere in the Capitol. And I would say that was indeed the case. We saw bills moving much more quickly, much more smoothly through the legislative process and to Governor Stitt's desk. Now, there were disagreements and there were some vigorous debates in many cases, but we saw a bill signed in February, only a few months after the legislative session began. The first appropriations bill was signed in April, and there was a little dust up in the budget negotiations, but within a week they resolved that and a budget agreement was reached.
So excuse me, we had this rookie governor, so to speak. I think that's fair to say. Never been in politics before. How did the businessman turned politician do in his first session, in your opinion?
Well, I think he did fairly well. Not only did we see the process of the legislature move along more quickly in its relationship with the governor, but we also saw agreements reached more smoothly and more quickly. We began, for example, with the work on the various agencies that the governor wanted to be able to appoint the executive directors for. They reached an agreement on the process for the directors as well as for the boards that govern those agencies. Those bills were passed and the governor signed them. Again, when it came to the budget negotiations, things stretched out throughout the session, and there was a small conflict at one point, but ultimately that was resolved and they agreed to a very robust budget.
Now, we all know that if you have a surplus to begin with, if you got extra dollars, that makes life just a little bit simpler, right, at the Capitol. Give me a couple of examples where having the money really kind of smoothed things along.
Well, I think we saw that in education funding. This has been an area of concern for Republicans and Democrats for the last several years. And what we saw again was an increase in teacher pay as well as more money going to the classroom. We also saw another emphasis on state employee pay with an employee pay raise approved there. And we also saw some programs receive additional funding for the coming year.
Maybe 15 seconds left right here. Biggest issue maybe facing the next session. What's going to be the big battle?
Criminal justice reform continues to be an issue. They approved several pieces of legislation during this session, but there's still work to be done. The advocates for those changes are going to be back at them again, and the legislators themselves want some of these other changes.
The session's over. You deserve a little time off, right?
Well, we'll look and see how they implement all this legislation now.